All right, and with movie magic, here we go. Episode 176. There we go. There we go. All right. Before I was rudely interrupted by technology, this is Hot Take Wrestling Podcast. I am Old Man Logan. To my right is my esteemed colleague KG, and we're going to go ahead get this thing rolling. KG, let me get your intro out the way, sir. Hold on 1 second.
It's the ginger whiskey assassin, the other KG. Hashtag y'all gotta chill.
KG, talk to the people.
This episode of Hot Take Wrestling is brought to you in part by Teddy Tiaki. Acknowledge your tribal chief.
Oh man, how did I know that was coming? I should have knew that was coming.
It's Big Oos, Old Man Logan, acknowledging.
All right, good people. This episode is brought to you in part by WWE 2K Sports, WWE 2K26. No, I'm lying, but here's the thing, people. If you want to be a sponsor, that's the spot. You see how flawless and effortlessly I did that? I didn't do that last part effortlessly. That wasn't flawless, but the part before that was flawless. So big shout out to myself. And if you guys are looking to give some good folks, some good brothers, a little bit of promotion, and support on the financial side, you are more than welcome to become a sponsor. Send those emails, NMG, nomimediagroup@gmail.com, and just put in the subject matter, sponsorships, I'm saying, a sponsor, something of that sort, and we'll get back to you. All right. But I want to thank you all for checking us out. This is 176. KG, how your week been going thus far, sir? We had a special time, special day. We couldn't do our normal day of Wednesday yesterday, so here we are Thursday.
I spent today watching in anticipation of a sequel for a horror movie that's coming out tomorrow. Ready or Not. So, I have a soft spot for white women in distress. So.
Oh man, well I wouldn't.
She married into the wrong family.
All right, was the first one good? I didn't see.
No, yeah, it came out like in 2019. It actually was pretty good. All jokes aside,
okay. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out, man.
Yeah, if you average out the score, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a pretty high rating. I think IMDb had it about like a 7 out of 10. I think Rotten Tomatoes had it like an 80-something%. So average it out.
Nice.
That's how I kind of do with movies if I've never seen them. But I think you like. There's like a satirical. I hate to compare every horror movie to like Army of Darkness type feel, but it's kind of got that feel. Where it's definitely a horror movie, but there's some funny stuff in there type thing. So it's like a satirical horror movie in a sense.
Okay, I can dig that. I can dig that. Shout out to Bruce Campbell. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, those Army of Darkness and Evil Dead films. So yeah, I did put the link in there, people. So if you guys want to talk wrestling with us this week, you're more than welcome to. We got a lot of wrestling to talk. Right now, I got TNA on while me and KG are going to get ready to do what we do best here. He's going to do the weekly recap. He's going to also give us a wrestler, male and female of the week. and you know what I'm saying. We're just gonna talk about what's going on. So before we get started, got a comment right there. Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in, sir. You're definitely getting ready to hear some of these hot takes, some of these recaps, and I'm trying to think if I got something for the heated roundtable this week. I'm sure KG or myself will come up with something in the midst of the show if we don't have something in mind already. But yeah, man, KG, you ready to get the recap started, brother?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
And now your week in review.
Never
Okay,
trust
floor
the
is yours.
Viper, man. Never trust the Viper.
Man,
Steak,
what's
man.
what's worse, a Viper or a murder Hulk? I'm sorry.
I'm just upset because Cody Raheem down for the culture, man. That man catching these strays every time on the road to WrestleMania. He had whooped by the Rock in the rain of all things. Like they couldn't time that any worse. But yeah, this man out here looking like what was the character? William Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption. Oh man, I mean I don't know what to say, man. Then Cena turned on him last year. Randy this year, obviously that hurt more. That cut deeper than anything, obviously in storylines because of their history. Going about their past with legacy. I shared a picture in our group. They showed the people that were celebrating with Cody. They had all turned on him. All the people that was in the ring at WrestleMania 40, except for Sammy, which is they keep teasing.
They definitely keep teasing that. That's right around the corner. At least I think it is.
and then you got Jay over here. Crash out Jay.
Crash out Jay.
Because he definitely been on one. Man, you need to apologize, Oos. I'm like, bro, what's the Bay Area gangs, by the way? Because that Oos be sounding real like, you know what it be sounding like if you coming from the West Side? Sound like some lords. or blood of cuss.
Hey,
I'm just saying, man. The way they be throwing that Oos around.
What was the name of that group back in the day? Booyah Tribe? That was from like
I don't even remember.
You used to collaborate with Eminem?
Oh, I can believe it then. Oh man. All jokes aside though. Yeah, I'm down for seeing the potentially seeing the Bloodline reunite to a degree. But I don't need them like running roughshod again. Like I'm expecting this won't be no super long runs on either end. Although it's been a while since somebody cashed in money on the bank on Roman. Who was the last person? What was it? Sheamus, was it? I think that was the last person, like 2015. I think that was the last time somebody cashed in on Roman.
Was it Sheamus?
I know he cashed in on him, but I thought that the last time it happened to Roman is what I'm saying. Because they cashed in on Seth. Mox did the year after that. Then 2017, I think Baron Corbin tried to cash in on Jinder Mahal. Oh no! Braun Strowman, I think, he cashed in on Roman, but he didn't do it the traditional way. That's what happened. And then like Brock interfered in the match or something. I don't know.
He did a match.
Yeah. Okay. But that being said too, I'm all over the place now. There's just a lot of wrestling that's going on this week. I like how so I don't know, you know how we always say they put the subtitles up, right? When people who don't have to have a complete grasp of the English language or vice versa for other shows. If there's people in New Japan that are not Kenny Omega basically who's fluent in Japanese, if they're not a Kenny Omega type and they're foreigners. But I bring it up to say that some of these other promos, it seems like the standard cookie cut promos from some of these people that are not completely there with the English language, but Stephanie McCormick getting real spicy, man.
Very.
Picante. That's why she come out with them damn horns every week, because she called Liv a cheap blonde, and basically she's been coming at her head super hard, and I enjoy that, man. said a number of other things. Oh, so you're gonna be left. You basically have a lot of skill sets. You're gonna be left with nothing because you are nothing without them. I enjoy it, man. I don't need to see the same happy ho hum babyface promo every time, whether it be translated or whether it be already ready for us in English. So I definitely have enjoyed this beyond the little satirical part we were laughing at. When it's like an episode of like Telemundo when Don was translating. That still had me crying laughing. But Liv basically said the seeds were already been planted. That was the plan from all along. The Judgment Day stronger without Finn. And I said to myself, you know, all the original Judgment Day members have been turned on eventually. Or the original four at least. Started with Edge, obviously, which was I heard was his call because he didn't like. I guess creative was saying something they didn't like. He didn't like the way that they were supposed to, the direction they were going, or something like that. But yeah, the other two obviously. But it seemed like too, when somebody gets kicked out there, so eventually they're going to disband, obviously. But it seemed like a lot of people that had their hands in kicking somebody else out, they didn't want to get kicked out, so nobody's ever left on their own type thing.
Right.
Whether that be through the draft or just saying, hey, I could do this on my own. So I thought they could have gone that route with Finn, but I saw the turn coming in terms of them jumping on Finn. I did think it was a little odd to bring JD back to do that. But I guess at the same time, they kind of need fillers to lead up to Finn and Dom. So JD will probably play that role. And I was thinking, like, who else would you have to put in that position in the first place? Because I was of the mindset thinking, why even bring JD back? You could have just used him in that singles capacity, maybe on SmackDown or something. Like, since Carmelo Hayes doing that open challenge, that could have been JD's debut on SmackDown instead of him going back to Judgment Day when he came back from injury after this last spell of injury. But I'm just gonna say this, man. Man Bun Brock ain't the same as Brock Lesnar we know. Just gotta give him. He was looking real scared when Oba came out here with the Brock was looking like he reminded me of. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that time, the 2020 Royal Rumble when Keith Lee came out, when he looked at Paul and said, who's this motherfucker?
Yeah.
And he did like this. Said, okay. Oh man, Brock over here was just slinging Seth Henchman. I'm over here crying, laughing. Like he did a drop down before he got one of them. It went like the go behind. I saw he put all 300 pounds into that German suplex, but he went flying. Well, a couple of them did. I said, these dudes didn't hazard pay because some of them got thrown, and I was like, are they safe the way Brock was throwing them? Mind you, this was not on the mat. This is outside.
Yeah. I didn't really like that, bro, because you got at least 20 of these dudes and you have Brock just run through them. Like, and Steph just stands there stoically. He doesn't do a thing about it. He doesn't show he's the man without fear. He's Daredevil now. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Then Oba comes out and it's just like an awkward, like, okay, all three of them? This is where we're going? We're going to have a triple threat with these three? But then, of course, Oba comes and attacks, Brock and points at the sign, WrestleMania sign, which still, it's like, okay, where does that leave us with Seth? Are we going to get a handicap match with Seth, possibly? Logan and Austin versus Seth at WrestleMania, a la Randy Orton versus Legacy. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what WrestleMania year that was. What WrestleMania
that was 26, and in a sense, it turned into a handicap match because they announced it as a triple threat, but they could have probably just announced it as a handicap. Mm-hmm. But it was, that was WrestleMania 26. Because they were trying to turn Ted DiBiase Jr. face, and the crowd just went nuts when Orton attacked both of them on Raw. I guess it was because the Marine 2 was coming out or something, and Ted DiBiase was the lead actor in that movie.
Yeah.
But
because they did. You're right. They did put him in that space before they started having Miz start those Marine movies. That's true. That's right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they were trying to push him as like a top babyface, and then the crowd just didn't accept Orton as a heel anymore, type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which worked out for the best. And that was probably Orton's longest run as a face, honestly, because he was a babyface from that point on until he cashed in on Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013.
Mm.
And then this just now was his second longest one for a while, because he came back. He was a face before he left. So, but because he was doing the Rated Arcade Bro theme with Matt Riddle.
Yeah, with Matt Riddle. Yeah. So this would have been his second longest run as a face then, right?
Right, because you kind of got to take out. Well, you can't count the 18 because he was out. But I'm trying to see how long was he a face, because after his feud with Drew, he got into that feud with the Fiend. He was still working as a heel, because I remember they did that weird ass Inferno match. So going to the 37, he was still a heel technically. I'm trying to remember when did they flip him. I think it was when they started doing the Arcade Bro stuff, because I think Orton was still technically in that tweener space.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about maybe a year. So I guess that technically this would have been the longest run, because he came back in 23, the end of 2023. So you might as well say 2024. So about a 2 year. So they'll give or take around the same, because like I said, you can't count the 18 months he was out. And then before that, it was about a year, give or take. So, but it was kind of time, like we were debating, or not debating, we were just wondering whether was it going to be at WrestleMania, or was it going to be, and we were wondering, was it going to be Cody? Because I think it was time for Cody, but maybe Orton is just, we know he's the more natural heel, and we've seen some of Cody's stuff where it looks like, yeah, he could pull that off, but Triple H, Mr. Levesque gotta be careful, man. Cody getting in that Super Cena realm where he's still not getting turned on, but you're starting to hear the spattering of boos. Like, it took a little bit longer, but it's
because he had been teetering that line for a while there. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's some blowback there too from the Cena feud. And I'll even go there too. I'll say even the KO feud, because he got booed a couple of times during.
Yeah, he definitely did. Because it didn't make sense, and if you think about it, why it didn't make sense a couple reasons. Cody helping out Roman, to a degree, kind of old Roman one, even though Roman wasn't intentionally helping him retain that championship against Solo. It was more about getting the Ulafala back. He did still technically help Cody at SummerSlam by doing that. So in that sense, it kind of made, all right, and they never referenced that. He never said, I know you were aiming for Solo, but you know what? You ended up doing me a solid, so I'll do you a solid once. Like, nobody ever covered that in the storyline kind of thing.
Right.
But it's still in KO's mind. So if he had, that gave the incentive. Either way, KO still had an incentive, because, like I said, the bloodline beat the hell out of him for years, like he was saying. And I think that's why I said that Kevin Owens was not wrong. I'll stand by it to that day in that storyline. You're supposed to be his homie. And he literally tried to help you finish the story at 39. And that's another thing. Because when the Usos came out, Sammy and KO made the same for Cody. So everybody thought, right. And so it's one of those things where I can see why Cody was getting booed. But also, I say the Super Cena thing because going back to WrestleMania 40, right? I think he's gone over the last almost 2 years, which is 24 months. Cody's been without a championship for 4 months, 5, 6, give or take. So basically 75% of the last 2 years, Cody's been champion. Because Cena had it for 4 months, Drew had it for almost 2. Other than that, Cody's been, like, as a babyface, that's insane in today's era. Like, and it's not even a knock on Cody. There's been times where I think people just don't know how to accept, because people were kind of getting on Cody even, I don't know when it started, but I'm like, it's just too difficult to be a compelling babyface with the title, because eventually I think we've come accustomed to, we are in a similar age group, but we came up to around a time where the babyface for the most part was chasing. We didn't see super long heroic runs like Hogan, really. Like, you caught the tail end of it. I was probably in diapers where Hogan was going on them long runs with the championship, and the fans were not turning on him. It's just nowadays once you break that, once you go behind the curtain, so to speak, and it's kayfabe and everything. It's like, why? We don't need to see you win every time. Rocky didn't win every time. Clubber Lang gave him that work. I mean, there's no Rocky movies if he doesn't lose, to Apollo. There's no Rocky 2, should I say. Why would it be a Rocky 2 if he doesn't lose to Apollo?
Right. There's no training montage where you lose all of that. Like, they always say that too, like the thrill of the chase, the babyface chasing the heel is the better part of the story, which it was, which is what made Cody's story like so magnificent and awesome. Between Roman, you got Roman, who was a dominant champion. Yeah, a lot of people they had fatigue from Roman because his match, his match type was, it just was a system to it.
Yeah,
do some holes. He's gonna lean on them. He's gonna talk trash. You're gonna see the hero try to get a second win, and then he's gonna do some more holes, and then he's gonna smash him, and he's gonna stack him, and he's gonna pin him like he was talking. And that would be the match. You know what I'm saying? And then especially the matches with Brock Lesnar, we knew what we were getting with a Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match. So it's just kind of like, okay, let's just get this over with.
Fair point. And to piggyback off of that, over those 3.5 years Roman had a championship, there were multiple guys that had feuds that spanned over years. Like I'm saying, like, for example, Jay wrestled him at Hell in a Cell 2020. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then they had another feud during the same title run. So that's because it was SummerSlam 2023. Same with KO. Like late 20 into 2021, Royal Rumble 2021, KO, Last Man Standing. 2023. Was it I Quit or whatever at the Royal Rumble? Right. Brock Lesnar. I think it started. What did that feud? I want to say they did the title unification at WrestleMania 38. We thought that was over and done. When you do a title unification, I never saw no rematch. Lo and behold, we were in Nashville. Hell of a Last Man Standing match, by the way. But Brock and Roman again. It's like same title run, same with Edge. WrestleMania 37. Okay, that's over and done with. Because in between that time, he feuded with Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, etc. Then Money in the Bank, back to Edge. It's like, bro, I thought you were done with these people. Like,
exactly.
And it's nothing wrong with going back to a feud if it's not culminated. But in my mind, that's culminated. If you having whole feuds in between, then with other guys. Mm-hmm. Not talking about TV matches. The funny thing is, it's 3 people Roman didn't pin during that whole run. 2 of them wouldn't surprise people. The third one would surprise people who Roman did not pin during that run. Who he had a match with.
And who was that? I'm drawing a blank.
Xavier Woods. Because remember they stole his King of the Ring.
That's right, the King in the Ring, and they never revisited that.
And Roman lost that match. I think the Usos interfered. And then he never defeated Seth. He lost by DQ at Royal Rumble 2022. And then the Fiend, he didn't pin the Fiend. He actually pinned Braun when that triple threat at was it Payback?
Yeah.
Because that's when they did Payback in the summer instead of. All right, well, they just, you know what? That's why. Well, that's another story.
Because Payback took the place of, was it Battleground? Because they were trying to
make something, but I just think some of their pay-per-views sound the same. So it's like one of those things where, come on, bro, can we get Payback Backlash? That's why they need to start using.
You got all of those pay-per-views that you got from WCW and ECW.
I was gonna say, and they do not utilize them.
You know what I mean? Like now, you'll see some of that stuff on NXT.
Right, Heat Wave and
it would be a bad idea to utilize some of this stuff on main rosters, PLEs as well.
I mean, even going back to Hog Wild, they can even do that. I take that over Great Balls of Fire.
Hey, they might try to bring back Great Balls of Fire. I don't know what Vince was thinking that time, man. Vince, he was feeling it that day, man.
Oh man. But get into some AEW real quick.
I wanted to make one point real quick in reference to the Cody thing. I think also what didn't do Cody any favors is the match he had at Saturday Night Main Event with Obafemi, because that was probably, if we want to be honest, that probably was the start of him getting booed again by the fans, because we didn't get a definitive finish. The fans were obviously behind Oba. It was nothing against Cody, but it's the same song and dance. This is the new shiny toy. He's the NXT champion. Cody's the WWE Undisputed champion. And it's a clash. And we got robbed of that match. Obviously, was it Drew McIntyre came out, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Drew McIntyre. For the majority of that match, the fans were behind Oba. They weren't behind Cody. So I think it's a little bit of jet lag there. We had a 2-year story of Cody chasing. Then we had about 2 years of him being champ, basically.
In a sense, because other than that run, like I said, between like I said, Cena had it for about 4 months, and then Drew had it for 2. So basically, 18 out of the last almost 24 months has been Cody, which is 75% of the last. Yeah, 75%.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of jet lag there. It's like, okay, plus they didn't do the best job booking Cody as champion, and I think that's one of those main ingredients when you have a babyface champion that you want to be champion long term. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have to keep those feuds fresh. You have to keep those, matches entertaining. You got to keep him fresh some kind of way, because otherwise, him just coming out here smiling, kissing babies, hugging the fans. Not that the fans don't want him to interact with them in that regard, but it gets old. This is how you end up with what we got on SmackDown when Randy attacks Cody, and in brutal fashion. You know what I'm saying? This was nothing. You know what I'm saying? This was old school. This was like 09 Orton. The only thing he didn't do was kick him in the head. Didn't do the punt.
That was the punt, the steel chair shot.
Yeah.
Even though we know he didn't connect on it. That's why they had to do it. That's the closest you're gonna get to an actual headshot with his chair.
Exactly.
In WWE at least.
Yeah. And the fans are going nuts. He grabbed that title. He sat in the middle of the ring with the title, and they went nuts. They lost their stuff, and it was just like, y'all wonder why, and it's just because the fans got jet lag with Cody, and you got to freshen them up a bit. I definitely foresee Randy winning at WrestleMania. If they don't, it's gonna be a travesty. It's gonna be even worse for Cody. You know what I'm saying? That Friday after WrestleMania, if they don't have him come out that Monday, because and that's the other thing. Cody just pops up. They don't announce him. He's not announced. Oh, Cody this week on Raw. You just look up. Oh, Cody's on Raw again. This is the SmackDown champion. This
is Triple H and his Vince McMahon. Why isn't John Cena on the card?
And I get that, and for that I'm gonna give a little pushback, because I don't know if it's just Triple H per se. I think that could be TKO saying, "Hey, look, need a little bit of or Netflix." You know what I mean? Netflix could be like, "Yo, we need Cody on the show."
Yeah,
I'm seeing him, but it's just kind of like, what makes Friday special if the SmackDown champion is going to be on Monday Night Raw?
That's fair. Well, and what other point I was going to make to piggyback? Lost the train of thought there. But then the funny thing is, if Cody does lose this year, then it's like he looks like a jobber at Mania too, though. That's the problem since he's tried to finish the story, because he lost at 39, right? Mm-hmm. He lost the tag match with Seth. Then he beat Roman. Then he lost to Cena last year. And I'm not saying Orton doesn't need to go over, but that's why I say Cody needs to be out of the title picture at Mania, because then you can afford to have him win or lose without. Like, I would have held off. And people might not have been happy about this, But I said that's what I said. I said maybe Cody or Orton. I didn't think they were gonna face it. I thought one of them was gonna face Trick and elevate Trick. Whether he won or lost, just being in that position for him. That's what I thought they were gonna do with him. But then you got Drew over here quitting every other year. Somebody that man said that once a year. Drew McIntyre quits happens more times than Big Show turns heel. Nah, that's actually a lie.
No, because it's almost, bro. Cause he's kind of playing that role now. They got rid of Braun Strowman, who they were putting in the Big Show kind of shoes anyway, right? So they released Braun Strowman. Who do they have to utilize in that capacity? Drew McIntyre. And he's done that. Like he's always complaining, always whining, switching sides. He's a heel one minute, he's a face the next. It's just like, yo, what are we doing here? It's like, playing round ball with Drew McIntyre. But
I just need to know if Teddy Tiaki is a downloadable player on WWE 2K26. Hey, he said that. Then my man said, "I'm not gonna call you Joe." That's an insult to what Samoa actually love.
Oh, I love that shot, bro. Punk has shown, and I don't know what the future holds for Punk when he does stop, in ring.
Yeah.
I would love to see him in like a GM role or fashion where he can still, because that mic work isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Like, and we've seen flashes of him on commentary already, so we know he's great on commentary. So the world is his oyster when he does finally hang up the ring train.
Not fair.
And boot. But that promo, man, what did you because we didn't get into that during the recap before you get to like AEW. How did you feel that promo fared? Because that was their second promo, since the whole "I'm gonna bury you next to your father" comment.
Yeah. Right?
So, and then I know they've gotten a lot of flack from like Busted Open and other shows I've listened to and other wrestling fans where they've said, "Oh, why is the word that triggers CM Punk so much so that he attacks Roman when Roman sat there and just took it. He had to eat it basically when he basically was told, yeah, I'm going to bury you next to your dead father."
I thought they didn't do that.
Yeah. Be fresh. You know what I mean?
I think that made Roman look more soft. Or they made both of them look bad. That's what I'm saying. They didn't really advance outside of that little quip that Punk did, which was hilarious about the name thing. You keep calling me Phil. like, and then Roman saying, "Oh, him throwing the shot. Why don't you ask your wife about, the whole part-time thing?" He's like, "That's all you got," type thing. And I'm like, well, they both done had some shots that landed, but at the same time, I feel like they didn't really advance it too much. That made the rest of the segment look kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't with it. That being the trigger, like you said, they've been saying way worse to each other. That should have been a line that had Roman snap and not going to do what Orton did, but it should have been like a pull-apart brawl.
Right.
The whole I'm gonna bury you next to your father. And I'm still tweaking on the Usos. I need to apologize. He didn't disparage him. He brought his name up. But he didn't tell him. I mean, it can be construed as disrespectful, yes, but he didn't insult him though.
I feel like they did that trying to capitalize on, because I saw a video of like Zillify too, where he was sitting there with family and they were watching Raw, and you saw like a real life reaction of their family reacting to that promo, and it was like, oh shit. And Zilla was like, yo, I'm a CM Punk fan, but he got to see me after that. And I feel so much heat from, and it probably got backstage heat too. Who knows? I don't, I haven't seen anything reported in terms of backstage heat.
Yeah.
But I think that was them just trying to capitalize on that and continue furthering that story of him dropping that pipe bomb, or this pipe bomb-esque statement of burying Roman next to his father. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's what that was. Who knows? That's just why I think it was like, okay,
no,
now
fair
we have
point.
the Uso, say their piece in it.
But yeah, so AEW Revolution, the first three matches had returns after every match. You had you know what? I didn't want to be the grumpy person, right? You know, you see
Mhm.
the Michael Jordan after them kids meme.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see that entrance with the Bucks, man, with the kids out there. I was like, when is this gonna be done?
Mm.
I sound like real grumpy, don't I? It's ironic because I'm wearing green too. I sound like a damn Grinch. But that being said, there was a hell of a tag match between them and FTR. Obviously, certain teams just click, and it's a good thing that hasn't been oversaturated. There's a reason, and I'm glad that the 5 years they've been with that company, almost 6, they've only had 5 matches. So this hasn't been overly done. So in that aspect, I do give them credit for that.
Excuse me.
No worries. And then obviously Ronda Rousey debuting. That came out of nowhere. I didn't even hear any rumors about that. Granted, I am not on the dirt sheet sites like I used to be. I still I saw that nowhere though.
Yeah, it came
I
out of
wanna say.
nowhere. Hey, kudos to Tony Khan and the AEW team for that, because
No,
I
for
don't think
sure.
that was on anybody's bingo card. Like she just announced the MMA fight she's having under the Logan Paul promotion brand. I think it's gonna be Netflix. So that's the latest news I knew of Ronda, and then we get to see her, debuting soon in AEW. That just came out of nowhere. So I was like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well then, and then another thing for me, I think that's why they have to kind of be careful when they let wrestlers kind of write their own stuff, because yeah, Moxley cutting these babyface promos, but I think he tried to end Will Ospreay's career in a sense, because he was like in a Continental Classic, he was, and that's why it gets a little murky. We got too many people on one side, face and heel wise, because they had Mox working as the babyface those last few matches, because the last 2 matches in that Continental Classic were against Kyle Fletcher and Kazuchika Okada. And I said, why you got him working as the face? Like I said, when he's been your biggest heel. And then, of course, Ospreay comes back, and it's like, now you got the fans that dumbfounded. Like, of course, they're going to favor Ospreay. But they had Mox in his tweener space, which he's great at. But they did that too soon. Like, he should have been still positioned as a heel. Like, what they did with Moxley, they should have did with Kyle Fletcher. I understand you can't, and Kyle Fletcher's good enough on the mic to cut that same promo where he was just talking about the heart, like putting your heart and soul and everything you got for the Continental Classic in order to win it, type thing. Like I said, it made Moxley sound like he was angling while he was speaking from the heart. It's like, I don't need you speaking from the heart when you just committed one of the biggest atrocities of the last year in the company to take out the top babyface in the company, or one of them at the time. Swerve proved he's the most dangerous man in AEW. Went over Brody King there. They had a solid match. Andrade and Bandito probably arguably stole the night for sure. Between them and that Texas Death Match was a hell of it was brutal, obviously. The only thing I will say about that is I'm a little shocked they had MJF win clean. I thought somebody might have interfered or something. Because to put that caveat, not he couldn't go over clean, but to put that caveat that now the Hangman can't challenge for the AEW World Championship ever again, you think they at least have somebody interfere to do the dirty work, because that doesn't make it made MJF look too strong to a degree by doing that. / now what do you do with Hangman? That's why I said I don't know what his contract said it is. Something makes me believe he might be out the door soon. I don't know.
That's all I can make up, bro, because like you said, to have no kind of chicanery, to have no interference whatsoever. A lot of people was thinking maybe Wardlow comes and it comes
somebody. Yeah.
Somebody, right? None of that took place. And shout out to MJF, he kind of showed some love to Terry Funk with the ring gear.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So it was one of those things where it's just kind of like, that's why when we recorded last week, I was saying, hey man, maybe this is, we seeing the sunset on Hangman Page and AEW, depending on how that match is laid out. And with them not having any interference whatsoever, him putting MJF over clean, it's like we may be counting the days that Hangman is going to be in AEW. You know, this is something worth checking out. And when you continue, I am going to try to see if I can take it real quick on Google.
Well,
But,
and I say that too because Heyman's pretty young. Like when they kept having that quote unquote the four pillars thing, I said, well, Heyman's in the age group too. Ironically, I think I pointed it out when MJF dubbed him, Darby, Sammy, and Jungle Boy the four pillars, and I said, well, Heyman's only about a year older than Darby, so I think Heyman is still in his mid-30s right now. And I bring it up because that means he got, depending on what he wants to do and how long he wants to wrestle, that's a long time to be with a company and say you can't challenge the world championship in that promotion again. That's what I'm getting at too. It's not like he's, in his early 40s. Well, okay, he might not even want to be doing that much longer.
Mm-hmm.
And he might be on his way out the door type thing. Like
Okay,
if Rey Mysterio did that would make okay.
Right.
He probably got about 2-3 more years left. Anyway.
Okay, so real quick, according to Google, it says Hangman is signed to All Elite Wrestling through 2027. It said he signed a long-term extension in August 2023, keeping him with the promotion through at least 2027.
All right, we'll see.
So if we only got another year, I mean, I can see him. He has not touched the TBS championship yet, correct?
No, he is a trios or a world champion and a tag team.
Trios, the tag team champion, world champion. So you have TBS, not TBS. Yeah. TV. No, that's the TNT title.
TNT.
Yeah, TNT title there. The Continental Classic title. You could.
He had too many damn championships.
Yeah,
I would say if he touches the.
Still got Ring of Honor over there too. So
yeah,
you utilize him in those other little. You know what I'm saying?
He'd be the
division.
If he wins that, he'd be their first ever Grand Slam champion, the TNT. I guess. I think that would make him the first ever.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think right now. I don't
know because I don't think Joe hasn't won the tag titles there, has he? I know Joe's been a
trios champ.
He was a TNT champ. I know that
TNT champ, and he was the heavyweight champ.
I wonder if he's won it because if he asked somebody, I wonder if somebody's won all those. Now that I think about it,
maybe no, because Jericho hasn't been arrested. I was gonna say maybe Jericho.
I don't think Jericho ever won the trios titles.
I don't think he. I don't think he's wrestled with them since the trio title has been around. So
no, Kenny hasn't done anything. He hasn't won the TNT.
Okay, so let me see. Titles won.
But I guess it would. I don't know because if anybody, I don't know how you would.
Okay, so Google says Samoa Joe won 2 reigns as AEW World Champion, 2 as AEW Champion, 1 reign as AEW World Trios Champion.
Okay, so nobody's won all 4.
So nobody hasn't yet. So, like you said, Hangman could potentially be the first, once he does get the TNT Championship, to have held at least all of those induction. I guess that's the way I'll say it. The induction.
Yeah. The first ones that were first introduced, like the OG titles, I think, because everything else is too damn much right now. But maybe a Swerve who said he's putting up his #1 contendership against Omega for EVP. Maybe he'll be an EVP and make some of these titles like Thanos. But some of them need to go away.
Yeah,
it's too many damn. For one show, it is like you said. If they split them up. And we get Collision's already 2 hours. It writes itself.
Yeah.
Especially because that's on TNT. Make the TNT championship like their title.
Mm-hmm. You could totally do that if you wanted to just make the AEW title, the TBS title, and the TNT title. The
like
TNT
the Collision. Yeah, because Collision's already on TNT anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these championships. You could have a Continental, because you got the Continental and the International. They had merged those and they split them back up again, which is dumb. Then you got Jungle Boy with the national champion. I would do that, and then put let the tag titles and trios go appear on both. I'm fine with
Mhm.
that. Fine with that. 'Cause you need some fillers. You need that. Um, you need to fill those 2 hours, but they got. I wonder if I'm missing one. I think that's it, right?
Because you got, I mean, unless we bring in the women titles there, you got the women's heavyweight champion.
The women are fine because, like I said, I feel like I kind of cut you off, but more along the lines of their depth for their roster isn't that deep. I'm fine with leaving all the women's. I'm fine with leaving all the women's titles on because they only got the 3. They got
the tag team, the TBS, and the women's world champion. Yeah.
So I'm fine with that for sure. And speaking of the women's world title, solid 2 out of 3 falls match between Tekla and Chris Statlander. I was a little surprised. Like I said, when they had that babyface win and they do the rematch and the heel wins, I don't really like that. I'm not saying the heel has to win the first time they pursue it, but then like, what incentive was there for Stat to even get for Tekla to get a rematch? I mean, she lost clean, and then next thing I know, she gets another. That's a little weird period, no matter heel or face, right? To me, there's no outside interference for that person to get a rematch without winning like a number 1 contendership or whatever. That's because they backed the champion into a corner, should I say? That's always a little weird for me. But they announced Cope and Cage versus FTR for Dynasty next month, so I'm just interested in seeing who they're gonna put. I'm guessing Omega will probably win though, because you could do heel versus heel, but since they flipped Swerve back basically in a sense, I don't think we'll get Swerve and MJF at Dynasty. You'll probably get Omega winning that match upcoming this Wednesday for on Dynamite against Swerve, so they can go on to face MJF at Dynasty. More than likely, at least. Rest of the week, I got to give a nod. MJF, that's not his normal type of match, and he fit the role perfectly. He got violent enough when he needed to get violent enough, type thing, to sell that match. Women of the Women's Wrestling League, kind of got. I guess I'm gonna give it to Tekla because she's a spitball, she's a fireball, man, and like I said, she captured the title faster than I thought she would. I think it was a good move to put the title on. I just thought Stack should have had a little bit longer of a run.
Yeah.
Also, that's all it would have been. I'd like to give an honorable mention to Willow though for pulling double duty. She defended the TBS championship successfully on the 0 hour, and although the Babes Rap dropped the titles later on that night, they did do Penelope Ford a little dirty because her and Megan Bain were tagging for months before her injury, and then they bring in Lena Cross. Even I'm not sure if they have a history together in past promotions because I'm not really super big on the indies. But I thought that was kind of bogus for Penelope a little bit since she had been teaming with Megan Bain for months. So but that happens. One other point I want to touch before I don't know if I have a heated roundtable, but before you get into some TNA and NXT was to Punk's point though. I thought that was kind of a weak comeback when he said Simone actually loved you, and he said, "You call Joe, he'll tell you who your tribal chief is." I said, "Nah, that was kind of weak because, as far as I can remember, Joe ain't never similar to Roman. I feel like whenever Joe's been in the stable, he's always been the equal or the leader. I could be wrong because I don't remember that run, all of his runs in TNA. So you'd probably better to speak to that, but I do." Wasn't he in that stable with Booker T and them, or was that AJ?
Main Event Mafia, he totally was.
Okay. But I'm like, I think they were all booked as like equals, right? Wasn't nobody supposed to be, or was Joe like going after the world title? Or Booker T
they had different variations of Main Event Mafia, from what I do remember. And anybody that's watching, if you guys are TNA stands and remember this stuff too, please hit the comment, let us know. I don't want to say matter of factly if he had a run as the head like guy with the TNA championship, but I do know he would have the X Division title.
Okay.
their I'm trying to think of what their like various they variation of the IC title. You know what I mean? He would have, like the mid card championship, like him and Kurt Angle were a part of the main event Mafia at the same time, where Kurt Angle was the main champion.
Gotcha.
So, you know, but he, you know, Joe would play his role, you know, and definitely, you know, participate, deliver, you know, being part of the main event Mafia. So, and it was just kind of, like I said, it's been different variations of it. So I just can't recall all of it, because you've had variations that included Kevin Nash, you had variations that included Sting, and, you know, like you said, Booker T, so on and so forth. So it just kind of just depends on the version you're referencing.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. Well, now that we got that out of the way, did you give it a grade? Did you give what grade would you give AEW Revolution?
The only thing I would dislike, I would say I give it I give it an A, but at the same time, I will say, because the first 3 matches that happened, I don't need the first 3 men's matches. At some point, somebody kicked out at 1. I was like, all right, it was done 3 times tonight. Come on. But I get the adrenaline pumping type thing. You want to sell the crowd and get them into it. But the first 3 men's matches that happened, because they were alternating matches. It was tag titles, and the Tony Storm and Marina Shafir match. Excuse me. Then it was Mox versus Takeshita. And then it was I think the women's tag team title. And then I think the 5th men's match was Brody and Swerve. And they all, at some point, they had somebody kick out at 1, and I'm like, come on, man. chill out with that. Let that be a special spot, you know.
Yeah.
That's my only knock with the quality of the matches. Like I said, I'll probably give it an A.
Okay, great. I have noticed that with AEW in their PLEs, they have been knocking those out of the park for the most part. The only knock I have is that they seem to be lengthy pay-per-views as far as the time you're gonna sit down watching it. Like, I think Revolution went out there at like midnight, but that could be including that 0 hour as well. So you got plenty of wrestling taking place whenever there's a pay-per-view, which, if you're a wrestling mark, that's exactly what you're there for. You want to get to digest as much wrestling as possible. But that's also a reason for me why, personally, I don't know if I would ever go to an AEW pay-per-view, because if I have to sit there, bro, we were sitting there for the 3 hour Raws, and we know, even though, you know, we got to see some of our favorites, it was still a chore. It's still a Monday. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, I don't know. Even and then that was a Sunday. So if you sat and watched all of that on that Sunday, you were up till the next day pretty much. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I need the good folks over there at AEW to kind of find that sweet spot where they can give us, you know, a good maybe 6 matches for the PLE. You know, and maybe if you want to keep the 0 hour there, you keep that. You give us 2 at the 0 hour, you know, that's relevant with storylines, and you just kind of go from there. But yeah, I at this old age, I can't do all that. I can't do all that wrestling too much.
No, I co-sign that too, because of the fact that now they're doing them almost every month now. Because when AEW first was a promotion, I think they were doing like 4 or 5 a year at most.
Mm-hmm.
So you did like, if they did 4 a year and they had that many matches, I could kind of, but to consider the fact they almost have one, I don't know if there is a month they don't have a pay-per-view now. So yeah. They're gonna cut those. So like you said, about 6 or 7 matches, and you don't make the cut, man. Or just give them, or do what they did to the tag titles from WrestleMania 41. You just get a pay-per-view length match on Dynamite. They already kind of do that anyway. A lot of Dynamites, you see 1 or 2 matches go the length of a pay-per-view match in a sense. So
yeah. And that is one thing I do like about WWE. You will get that on a SmackDown leading into, you know, a go away show SmackDown. You know, going into a PLE, you'll get a pay-per-view worthy match that SmackDown that very well should have been on the card, but just for time purposes, you had to keep it off, you know, and you wanted to give that match justice, so you give it TV time. You know, I just think that's the way to go.
Oh, and real quick, the last thing, shout out to Bailey and AJ Lee that cooked on Raw, and Penta and Dragon Lee. That's all I got. I don't know why I almost overlooked those two matches because man, shout out to Chef's Kiss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so real quick recap. You said MJF for men's wrestler of the week and Tekla for
I'll go Tekla. Like I said, I don't know why I overlooked AJ because you've been out of the ring for 10 years and that was a crisp match. Yeah, crisp match she had with Bailey. Like she was doing things I didn't remember her doing in a run, like that hammerlock submission thing, move, and so just everything. Like it was a good match, man.
Okay. Real quick before I give this NXT recap, what do you think about the Bella Twins signing a new 2-year contract with WWE?
Yeah.
See, people, I knew it was going to be a short, comment, so that's why I did it. All right.
NXT, I told you I see their appeal, but in terms of their, you can't say that
not in ring.
No, but I'm saying you can't. I personally wouldn't justify giving them a 2-year deal. There's nothing that says what I've seen from either one of them, especially Nikki, that I'm committed 2 years to her.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them for trying, but
ain't it, bro?
They don't have the motor to go with these women now. This is a different breed, than when they were in the ring. These women live, breathe, die wrestling. Not to say that the Bellas don't, you know what I mean? Not to say that they don't love wrestling, but they just don't have the motor to keep up with the women that are wrestling today. And, but they're up for the challenge, and, who knows? We'll see. Maybe they'll bring back Total Divas or something. They'll utilize them in that fashion. Maybe they'll utilize them for commentary, or wrestling as well. Who knows? The Evolution thing, they finally got a sequel to that, years later. Maybe they're going to push to, make that an annual type of event. And with how society is, Women's History Month, that kind of deal. Why not have Evolution every year during Women's History Month? It writes itself.
That's fair.
You're celebrating women. Hey, why not celebrate them during Women's History Month with their own PLE? You know what I mean? And maybe, we're doing all these other shows. Maybe you finally get them their own show. Just a thought. All right, man. NXT March 17th results. We're going to start with NXT Women Champion Jacy Jayne defeating Sol Ruca and Zarya in a triple threat match. Tony D'Angelo looks like he's going into feud mode with Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. They also have Joe Hendry in the mix there as well. So you're going to have the unlikely, pairing of that possibly going up against All Ego and Ricky Saints. Los Americanos defeated the Vanity Project from Evolve Wrestling. Keanu Carver, which is a new guy they've been promoting in NXT, crashed NXT's Booker T Appreciation Night. Ren Sinclair defeated Fallon Henley to win the Women's Speed Championship. Birthright defeated Hank and Tank for the NXT Tag Team Tournament. NXT Women's North American Champion Tatum Paxley defeated Izzy Dame in a steel cage match. And that is NXT for the week.
So for a second you said Hank and Tank, I just thought Heavy Machinery was back. Kentucky.
That's pretty much what Hank and Tank is. If you're asking me, and they don't have an Otis, so it's not like a big dude. Come on, Tucky! Like you don't have that, but you do have some of the shenanigans that you got with Heavy Machinery, man. Shout out to Heavy Machinery too. I thought Tucky would have been back by now, man, but it didn't work out.
Budget cuts,
whatever he may be, budget cuts for sure. I did see something. I don't know 100% about it. I think Braun Strowman is working on a return to the wrestling ring. I don't know if that'll be with WWE or with any other promotions. He does have a second season of his food show coming out with WWE. WWE are the producers of that show. So kudos to him for that. Next week, I'll try to have a little bit more on that for our people that mess with Hot Take to come get their dose of wrestling with us.
It's what's on the menu.
Yeah. So, but we're on the road to WrestleMania, man. So we're gonna definitely try to keep you all informed as much as possible. TNA is tonight. Make sure you guys are watching TNA on AMC Thursdays. Okay, I think that comes on at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. I've been checking it out. I'll be honest, I've been falling behind on some of my wrestling. Life been lifing, but I'm trying to get things down to a day where I could just sit down and watch. And I know KG said it before too, but I'm thinking Sunday is gonna probably start to be my day where I just cut the TV on early. I get all of my errands out of the way, cut the TV on early, and I watch Raw, NXT, Dynamite, TNA, and SmackDown just through the course of the day, when I don't have anything going on. But I think that's what I'm going to start doing. Outside of that, we do have plenty of content that's getting ready to hit the page again. If you guys aren't, make sure you're following us on Instagram at HT_WP. I'm working on getting our old page back. Fingers crossed that takes place. But I'm going to get on. Let me get on here right quick. HTWP_HTAD. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. I'm going to say it one more time. HTWP_HTAD on Instagram. Smash that follow button, please, and thank you. We have some things we're working on. Like I said, I have found a venue. I am in discussions right now with the manager of said venue. They are wrestling friendly. It's a very nice looking environment. And in the summertime, their patio will be open. So, yeah, you guys are definitely going to like this. And you're going to want to come have some fun with us. I don't want to do it too much, but I think I got some stuff I got to talk to the brothers about, as far as maybe getting us a guest person to kind of be there to host the festivities, if that's possible, if it's in the budget. Outside of that, we got merchandise coming, and I hope you guys will support us as we are trying to make sure we can bring you all the best possible programming from us when it comes to wrestling. So that's all I got. The wise man got to work tonight, so no Hot Take After Dark, but you have my word. Next week, myself and the wise man will be recording episode 30 of Hot Take After Dark. So look forward to that next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, the party will start at 8 p.m. with myself and KG. KG, thank you, my friend, for making time for it today for us to get this episode done. Any last things, man, before we get out of here?
Yeah. I really think that young Teddy Tiaki guy has a future in WWE. You gotta make Teddy look strong.
Gotta make Teddy look strong.
Or was it Tiki Tiaki? It was Tiki. It wasn't even Teddy. It was Tiki Tiaki.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about somebody else when you said Teddy. Like, I thought we was getting Tiki and Teddy Tiaki.
Maybe we are. The Usos better look out.
It might be somebody under the black mask and hoodie.
Maybe
Teddy and Tiki.
Or Retribution. No, we don't need him to come back.
Shout out to Retribution though, just cause, man. All right, y'all. Well, that's it. That's me and KG time for this week. Hope y'all enjoy this show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to watch Hot Take Wrestling Podcast. You can always go to YouTube, search NMGTV, and smash that subscribe button to see all of the good podcast content that comes from the NMG Podcast Network. All right. Anything else I got before I get out of here? I think that's it. So I want to thank y'all for y'all time. Check it out. I screwed that up. Thank y'all for y'all time. Remember, next week the party starts at 8 p.m. on our usual scheduled day, Wednesday. And now we about to hit.